Yo, what's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Yeah, we're halfway there. We're halfway there, baby. We've got a guest lined up today. Really excited about it. You already know it's in the title, but boom, there it is. Courtney Mims. She'll be joining us here in just a moment. First off, shout out to Patreon supporters. You guys help. You know the deal. You are amazing. We've had some new legendary status members who want a shot at one of these former autographed Arkansas players right there. Get them on camera. Yeah, well, no, actually, there's three cards there. You want a shot? There you go. Sign up for legendary status. You'll be eligible for a possibility of winning one of those cards. So again, shout out to Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. We've had basketball talk going on in the Patreon chat today. Some recruiting stuff we might touch on here in a little bit. We'll see. Yeah. Also, of course, shout out to the show sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company, same day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes, better than best results. Yeah, that's Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Give them a call today at 501-244-3667. Again, that's Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Do me a favor, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. I've talked about it. And I know some of you don't want to hear it, but that's fine. I'm going to say it anyways. I am up against YouTube. They do not push my content. So it's up to you and I to fight this YouTube algorithm, this Terminator, this machine, this hateful algorithm that will not push this content. I've had several of you over the weeks DM me about not getting notifications. I've had friends text me, why am I not getting notifications? I don't know. Apparently, YouTube thinks I'm like Steven Crowder or something. I don't know. Maybe it's the swearing. I'm told it's probably the swearing. I don't know. Well, that, and I don't do the ads. I don't add ads to the live shows. But, whatever. And by the way, I had someone a while back tell me, Ty, you need to be grateful that YouTube has platformed you. You're correct. But I just wish they would abide by the rules, their own rules that they were upholding when I first started this venture. And they're not. There's a different set of standards for creators, and it's just wild. All right. I will tell you guys, this is going to be a call-in show. We have until about 6:50 around then. So we've got about 45, 50 minutes with, of course, the wonderful Courtney Mims. And we're gonna knock this thing out of the park because, well, she's awesome anyways. There she is. There's Courtney.
Hi, how are you guys? Or how are you, Ty, I should say.
I'm doing good.
Hi.
Yeah. Hey, I know I told you grats in Discord, but holy cow, you've had some life-changing moments lately. Yeah. So congrats on getting engaged. You're moved into a new home, right? You're in a new house?
I'm in my new house right now. I want to do more lives in my game room. You guys know I have those cool signed jerseys, one from Debo, one from Tim Tebow, trying to get my Travis Kelce jersey signed. So I know you guys know I have some memorabilia there, and I want to do it in that room, but we haven't got that room perfect yet. So,
well, I'm going to tell you, you need to hang up some nerd stuff too. I've got
Lord of the... I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hanging up some Zelda posters. I'm going to have I'm going to have some weird things that maybe people know, video game, very weird stuff. But I have a Cortana poster that I love, and I signed my name on one time. So I'm putting that poster up. You guys know Cortana is my gaming name. So I do have some cool stuff. Sorry to interrupt you, but
no. That's great. I was just going to say, one of my youngest daughter asked me where all my nerd stuff was, because all I have in here right now, I've got a hippie Frank Zappa concert poster thing on my door, and then I've got a Lord of the Rings map of Middle Earth directly in front of me, and that's really about all the nerd stuff I have. And then over to my left, my lovely wife helped me set up. Well, she did it. She ought to see this. I'm gonna post the pictures in Discord.
Oh, do it.
But I've got a whole nerd corner over here now, so it's really cool. She's awesome. I'm married to a very awesome wife. She's fantastic. So,
I love that.
Anyways, yeah, all right. Yes, low key nerd talk. It is a little bit because we are both nerds. I think you're a bigger nerd than I am.
I don't know. Am I? I mean, I play D&D, so I do play Dungeons and Dragons regularly. If you guys want a whole Dungeons and Dragons talk, we can do that like separately. I can tell you how my campaigns are going, how many characters I have, I really want to get a Baldur's Gate group going. If there's anybody on the Tusk Talk Discord that wants to play Baldur's Gate.
3, the new one?
Yes, please.
I have it.
Can we play?
We got to play. Holy cow.
Okay, we're just going to be so happy. Anyone else who wants to join us, it's 4 people can join.
Yes.
So can we? Okay, we're playing. All right.
We're doing it. I had no idea. Well, I should have known you were into D&D. And I think when you brought that up, it popped in my head. I wonder if she's playing Baldur's Gate 3, because I know that's obviously straight from D&D. To be fair, I've never played D&D. I played like Magic, 25 years ago in high school, and of course video games and Mass Effect.
I think you would like D&D. I think you would like D&D. I really do. I think we could make like a whole Razorback theme campaign.
Oh my gosh.
We could do that. Like genuinely. I have so many different campaigns. We have so many different things that we're doing. Okay. Wait, John is down for some BG3.
There we go.
We're gonna
have a group. This is gonna be awesome.
I can't wait. I'm very excited. Very excited.
No use says, who would have thought we'd start this thing off? I know there's gonna be someone that gets upset, but we'll get into sports. Just hang on. Dude, I would totally play that. I love the storyline, Larian's setup, and I love how they what they put into the game. Listen, I played what was their last game they did before Baldur's Gate? Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I know what you're talking about though. Now I'm blanking.
It's so good. It's so good. It's like that turn-based combat.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Guys in the comments, help. I'm blanking. And I know it's on the tip of my tongue.
Original Sin. Original Sin 2.
Yes. Okay.
There it is. We got it. Oh, that's it.
You got it. I give you all the credit for that.
I told you fit into this Discord. I mean, it's just perfect. All right.
Well, I love the people there. I really do. Love you guys. So.
Oh, that's awesome. We love having you. It's really it's awesome to have you in there. And yeah, it's great. I'll say this. We've had other media people in there and they either they just kind of left. Like we had John Neighbors in there for about a day.
Oh.
Ty Richardson was in there and I think he forgot.
What?
Mason Choate is still in there.
Oh, Mason. Okay. I need to tag Mason in some stuff. I'm just going to start making Mason start talking to us all.
Right. Get him into the fold here. All right. Well, let's get into the sports. We're going to have to nerd out. We're going to have have like
we will, because we also have Spider-Man 4 news. And I just, we have to nerd out about that too. So we needed a separate live for the nerd stuff.
We do. Tusk Talk nerd discussion, or it could be just Courtney's nerd corner or something.
We'll do it. I want to do that because I do want to nerd out with people. And we can even make it call in and everyone can talk nerd stuff with us. That'd be great.
Oh, man. I'm all about it. It's why I do what I do. I know it's part of the reason why you do what you do. Yeah. You're just a hell of a lot better at it than I am.
Goodness gracious. Please. No.
Let's get started off. So I listened to you on you and Mike Irwin on Ask Mike. And you guys brought up rat poison. And I think that it hit me when you guys said that. I was like, no, where were we at? That's very true. I think they did kind of buy into their hype a little bit. So the question I have, if this is the case, and we're going back just for a second to the Arkansas LSU game, if this is the case, how does the coaching staff, because we know you've got coaching in your family, it's in your blood, and obviously being around the university and all that too, how does the coaching staff curve this? And also, should the coaching staff take some responsibility for not weeding out all the hype and everything during the bye week, assuming we, again, believe that the whole rat poison thing was true? And not that it was all of it, but if there was any rat poison, is that on the coaching staff? And how can they prevent that in the future? Because we got another bye week, Courtney.
Yeah. And you don't want rat poison in that bye week. You could be set up in a similar situation. Maybe if you take down Ole Miss and then you go into that bye week and then you have Texas coming in, and it could be a very similar situation if that happens. I think you pose a really great question. I have also talked to my dad in depth about this because he's dealt with this. He's been coaching basketball for now, 40 years. Guys, that's crazy. 40 years he's been coaching. Well, actually, probably closer to 45 now. But he's been coaching for a very, very long time. And I actually asked him this not too long ago. It was actually before this week because he's dealt with it a lot. And I said, Dad, it came up in a conversation about expectations and expectations of a fan base. And I kind of wanted to get his thoughts a little bit on how do you kind of handle all of that? And the rat poison conversation came up because he brought up Kalen DeBoer at Alabama and what he's having to deal with there and kind of related it in that conversation. And I thought he made a really good point. And I'm not going to take credit for this. This is my dad who's been coaching for 45 years. But he made a really good point about Courtney. You can do everything as a coach. You can tell them no phones. You can tell them no social media for the season. And he's tried that before. And he's done those things. And he said he has tried to curb the outside noise as much as possible. But somehow he can't do a perfect job at it because he can't stop them from going to the grocery store and getting stopped and them going, oh my gosh, you guys are so good. Oh my goodness. Wow. We're so proud of you guys. You took down Tennessee. Wow. Like you cannot stop that. And they're getting that every moment they walk outside. And so as a coach, right, you have to ask yourself, how can I stop it? How can I stop it? It's not about, can you stop it, right? It's about how much you filter in and how you curb those kind of expectations and how you teach your team to handle that. And my dad brings up another great point. Courtney, a lot of that is maturity. A lot of that is how mature your team is. And he has had many mature teams because not only has he coached at the college level, but he's coached at the pro level as well. He coached in the BBL overseas in London against coaches like, I don't know, like Nick Nurse, if you know that name, and things like that. But he's coached men, right? He's coached men, and then he's coached young guys. He's coached the college guys. And he says the biggest thing I noticed is that those men can filter out some of that, can kind of say, nah, we're not listening. It's not a big of a deal. We're not listening to what anybody else says. And these college guys, they'll turn around and they'll take it in because they're young. And that's what you kind of have to deal with. And it's on the coaching staff a little bit. And I will not let them go of complete responsibility because it is on your coaching staff. I mean, look at what's going on at Georgia, right? And the culture that Kirby Smart is slipping there, right? I don't know if that's the right term for it, but the culture isn't what it has been in the past. And you have to put some of that on Kirby Smart, just like you have to put some of it on Sam Pittman and things like that, of trying to get these guys. You are giving them life lessons. You are mature. You are kind of not only a coach, but part dad for these guys, part therapist, part this, part that. Yeah. And so listen, it's not a job that a lot of people can handle. So I give a lot of credit to these coaches as well. Not a lot of coaches. There's a reason why some coaches can't coach at the college level, but they have more success at the pro level, and the other way around. So I think it goes to a whole larger concept of the maturity level and how you can handle it. And some guys are just going to be more mature than others at the end of the day.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, the younger, I know how my kids are, and not that they're that age, but my oldest will be 13 in June. And we already, to keep them off the phones is already something that generation, it's unique to that generation with the way social media is, the way modern technology is, the way these apps are. I mean, it's wild. I don't know how you filter it. And that's why I asked the question. I don't know how you do it.
But you can't even filter. You can take the phones away or whatever you want to do. It's hard to do that in today's age, but you can say no social media. That's what my dad's kind of done. No social media. Delete make your Instagram and your Twitter, deactivate those things for this season at least. But it still doesn't work. They still get text messages. They still get phone calls.
WhatsApp.
So WhatsApp. Some of these players, guys, went home during the bye week. What do you think their family is saying to them? We're so proud of you. You're so amazing, right? Yeah. I mean, these players are getting from every angle of like, wow, we really think you guys can do something. And not only that, but they're getting it from the national media. They're getting it from guys like Nick Saban, who's going and giving love to the Razorbacks. And so you're hearing that about yourself and you're going, wow, whoa, this feels really good. And maybe it's just something that they now have learned to deal with. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see moving forward.
How much do you think was it? Listen, I get it. LSU's just that good. They're playing really good, a really good brand of football right now. There's no doubt. Their Weeks is getting settled in at linebacker. They figured it out. Their defense is probably, I'm not gonna say it's as good as A&M's, but it's good. Junior redshirt junior quarterback. I get all that. But how much of it was rat poison? How much of it was just LSU just being that much better? How much of it was being maybe outcoached? Like, what do you see as maybe one of the biggest concerns from that game? When you walk away, you go, well, that's what it was. Or maybe it was 2 or 3 things.
I think one for me, it was turnovers, right? I tell people this because I truly believe this. LSU is very talented. I give them all the credit in the world for playing a heck of a ball game.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Let's talk about the crux of the matter is turnovers have killed this team against Oklahoma State. It has killed them against Texas A&M. And guess what? When they had no turnovers against Tennessee, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
Won that ball game.
No turnovers. And man, what a concept. And so when I looked at this game and the first turnover happened and it was Rashad Dubinion, and look, I understand it happens. But when you have 3 in a game, 2 that were really, really the turning points, right? When you have that many turnovers and a team that's as good as LSU can capitalize off of those, you're going to lose a ball game. You're going to. And so for me, it's what's infuriating. And I know the fans feel this way. And you guys can comment on if I'm right or wrong. What infuriates me as a college football fan, I'm not even talking about a fan of this team or that team. What infuriates me as a fan of this game is that we saw those mistakes week two. And we said, if these keep showing up, you're going to lose a lot. You're going to lose a lot more.
Yep.
And what's happening now in week, gosh, I don't even know what week we're in now because the bye week got me all messed up. But we're halfway through the season and these mistakes are still showing up. And that's where my brain goes. How much of this is on the players and how much of this is on the coaching staff? Because, there is something to be said about if the same mistakes keep showing up. I have a lot of questions about what's going on in practice. I have a lot of questions. Are you guys working on ball security with the running backs? Because while Rashad Dubinion fumbled it, Jaquindon Jackson struggled with that earlier in the season. He struggled with that at Utah.
And Green.
And Green. So what are we working on, guys? What are we doing? And I can't answer that question for you. That's what infuriates me because they shut off practices. So I can't answer that for you. I can't. And you can't, Ty. No. The only people who can answer that question is Sam Pittman and those players. Yeah. And I won't even say the offensive and defensive coordinators or any of the other coaches because we don't get to speak to them. Yeah. We don't even get to ask them questions. So for me, it's so hard for me to let the coaching staff slide on some of this stuff because you guys have to take some accountability. If we can't see, if we don't know what you're doing, listen, I will absolutely, if you let me walk to a practice and you go, Courtney, here's exactly what we're working on. And I go, wow, they're really hitting that hard. Then it's more on the players, right? For not being able to execute that. It may be the talent level, but it infuriates me that I sit here and I go, well, I can't really tell you because all I can tell you is what Sam Pittman said and those players have said. And they could say whatever they want. They could tell me they've worked on things. They could tell you they've worked on things, and maybe they haven't. We really, truly don't know. And so that's what I just don't know what team we're going to get that shows up every week. And this is what I've said to everyone, Ty. This is what I've said to everyone. They go, wow, Razorbacks could be a ball team. Or they could be a ball club this year. They could be a really good ball club this year. And I go, yeah, but that depends on what Razorbacks team shows up. And if they shoot themselves in the foot, I mean, to your point, which team shows up at what half,
right? I mean, Oklahoma State for 6 quarters, Courtney, we thought, wow, this is going to be an Arkansas team that puts up 39, 40 points a game.
They were the better team.
And since then, it's, we're going to get into the Arkansas stuff and stats I want to ask you about here in a little bit. Some of this might actually surprise you. Maybe not. Then again, probably not. But maybe someone in the audience will be a little surprised by what I'm about to tell them. Some of it I already repeated for Monday. But yeah, us not being there, not allowing, it doesn't even have to be me. I don't care. Not letting anyone in. I mean, you're closing off, when you close off the media, you're closing off the fans.
Yeah.
And that's always been my take. I've never liked the idea that the media can't be there. I think someone should be allowed to be there to film some of it, right? Or at least lay eyes on it and see, just like what you said, are they practicing on these things? Because I know when I was there in spring camp and fall camp, guess what? They were working on it. They were doing those drills where those guys are punching them, with those big sticks, and they're punching them when they got the ball. You're seeing them work on it.
Yes. Yeah.
What have they done since? We don't know. It's like you said, we're not there. Moving on, since we're talking about the coaching staff, of course, naturally, the whole point of this really is about Pittman. And again, going back to what Mike said, I liked his analogy. He was talking about, maybe you can argue it's apples and oranges, but, folks, hear me out, or hear Mike out, rather. He was making the analogy or the comparison of what basketball did with, all these coaching hires that didn't work out. And then eventually along came Mike Anderson. Mike Anderson, for 8 years, rebuilt the foundation that eventually led to, of course, Eric Musselman. Now, unfortunately, we don't know what could have been in 2020. I think that was a really good team. I don't know if they would have made the tournament for sure or not. Of course, the season was closed off before then. But I thought that was a very interesting comparison. And he was using that comparison, Mike Anderson, I felt like, to Sam Pittman. Do you believe, and maybe you can, I don't want you to answer for Mike's sake, but do you believe that he has done that so far, that he has rebuilt the foundation? We know it's better than Chad Morris. That's fair. I think, Courtney, you and I could rebuild a better foundation than what Chad gave us. But do you feel like Pittman has done a pretty good job of laying that foundation down for the next guy?
I think he has. And I know people will argue that, but I do agree. When Mike made that comparison, if you notice, and ask Mike if you guys have watched the episode, and if you haven't, go back and watch it, because Mike does great analysis of everything. He's been covering the Razorbacks for 50 plus years, so he has really great analysis. But I agreed with him immediately. I was like, wow, I didn't even think about it like that. But that is such a good point. That's kind of sometimes what you need. You need someone, and here's what I like about Pittman. Here's what I like about what he has done, is that he took over and he has had to deal with an ever-changing landscape of college football.
Yeah.
And he walked into a job and was going to give it his all anyways, but then you had what? COVID. Then you had transfer portal getting all changing things. Now players can leave and go wherever they like. And then you have
changing every year.
Then you have, what's the third thing? NIL. So guess what? He's had to coach. And this is where other coaches get it, right? My dad always says, man, Pittman has had to deal with a lot in his coaching tenure at Arkansas. And that's why I argue with fans when they say, well, Courtney, he's had time. He's had time. We're sick and tired of it. He's had time. He's had time of a lot of weird seasons, he's
That's
had
fair.
to deal with a lot. And so when I think you say, did he put the program in a good spot? Absolutely. Because while we say that his last season was not how anybody wanted it to go, right? Not how anybody wanted it to go. But you have to give this man credit for at least making Arkansas, there's a reason, let's be honest here, guys. There is a reason why Coach Cal even came here. And there is a reason why we get coaches and we have people and players that want to play for the Razorbacks. And you can't say that Sam Pittman doesn't have players that want to play for him. He does. Sometimes he doesn't have the money to pay those players. And I've heard that firsthand from guys that they have been trying to recruit that were like, and again, I'm not going to say who, but I have heard from a few people that said, yeah, I'd love to play for Sam. He can't afford me. Ooh, how much of a blow is that, guys?
Yeah. Well, that's it. We had Kyle May on from
Yeah.
Arkansas Edge.
Yeah.
He's the executive director over at Arkansas Edge. I had him on last week, and I had a whole list of other questions I wanted to ask him, and I did. That was something I wanted to bring up to him was, what would be your answer to something like that? Like, and I know there's only so much. It's part of the reason why I didn't ask him, because there's only so much he could say, and only so much that he knows, to be fair. But yeah, there's still a lot of questions with NIL, and I hope bringing Kyle on last week kind of helped clear some things up for fans. But there are so many questions with the NIL. But you're right, he has been handed or dealt a lot of rough things to deal with. I think the counter to that, though, would be that, so is Lane Kiffin, of course, who's got the NIL advantage.
Right. But what I'm saying is, this is a guy that hasn't been a head coach before. This is a guy that walked in to his first head coaching job, right? Mm-hmm. And he's been other coaches. That's fine. But that's a whole different ballgame, guys. First of all, your first head coaching job, there's a lot of things thrown at you. There is a lot of things that you've got to deal with. And I couldn't imagine, and talking to other coaches, they couldn't imagine dealing with all the things he's had to deal with in his very first head coaching job.
Yeah.
So that's my counter argument to the counter argument. Is that
you heard Bobby Petrino when he did his interview with, I think it was Hogs Plus, where he said, I don't have to worry about that other stuff. I just worry about the offense.
He said that to us too when he was asked about NIL. He said, I am so thankful Tony Yurchek and Sam Pittman deal with that, because I just get to coach. And it's why I really truly believe that Bobby, whatever happens with Sam Pittman, doesn't want to be a head coach. He likes what he's doing right now. He likes it. There is a lot of coaches out there. I'll be honest with you. My dad is one of them. He will raise his hand and say, if I don't have to deal with NIL, if I don't have to deal with anything, I'll do it. I'll just coach. Yeah. When did we lose just the coaching part of it?
Oh,
and now it's all of this other stuff that you have to be well versed in too. So that's where I give Sam Pittman a lot of credit. Now, I will say that doesn't mean you can't go in without criticism as well on the man. There have been some mistakes. There have been some things that make you scratch your head. There have been some decision-making in games where I've gone, who made that call? And if it was Sam Pittman, or if it wasn't Sam Pittman, why didn't he step in and say something about it or give his opinion? So I think there is criticism where criticism is due. But I also believe you also have to give the man some credit. You just do. And I've said this before, and I'm not trying to say like I'm an advocate for him staying here for, another 10 seasons or whatever. Goodness gracious. I'm just saying I'm willing, as a person who sees the other side of it and sees that coaching side of it and sees all of this other, oh my gosh, this is what you have to deal with on a daily basis, and try and coach a football team and try and coach a basketball team, or goodness, like Dave Van Horn try and coach a baseball team. I mean, I just feel like I can give a little grace there for him, just a little bit. And that's what I'm willing to do.
It's you're right. It's a different, it's definitely not the job that it was even just 4 years ago. And it's been the craziest amount of change I've ever seen in college football. I mean, already you had the playoff change from going from the BCS era back in 2012 to the playoff era. And now we've expanded that. I mean, even that's already changed. But then in 2020, 2021, you introduced the portal, you introduced NIL. You don't have, you got coaches poaching, and you've got proxies. And, we know a little bit about proxies and how they're used. It is just another world entirely for a head coach. And I get that. I also understand, man, 5 years, 5 years, and there's still the same mistakes.
That's
and that's the stuff that I think fans are understandably so getting kind of, turned off by, like one example would be the timeout, that they used to, fake the field goal against, I think it was Texas A&M, and they used the timeout It was such an obvious call, and it was just such a head scratcher.
And then you kept the call, and then you just didn't abandon it. You were like, "Oh, we're keeping it."
Yeah.
Everyone in the stadium knew what you were doing. You didn't have to be a college football coach.
That was crazy.
That's what infuriates me as well.
Yeah.
Is it stuff like that where it's like, come on, you've been doing this now 5 years, like you said, you've been doing this. And that's where I'm like, okay, I'm not willing to give grace on those things.
Yeah.
I'm willing to criticize, and I'm willing to say, okay, that's not what we want to see in year 5, right?
Yeah. Well, so talking about his future, this has come up in just about every group chat that I'm in with another media member. This has come up. Sam has brought up the hip, and I'm just saying this is something, and I won't say his name, but he does work in media, and he brought this up to me. He said, Ty, in his own words, have we considered that maybe Sam he's getting up there in age, he's in his early 60s, he's dealing with this hip. He has brought it up a couple of times. And so what he said, I don't have the actual text in front of me, but I have what I have written down. We know Sam has brought up his hip a couple of times. Yeah. Maybe in kind of joking fashion, we know the pressure had to be getting to him last year, and we saw it kind of, when he was in the post games talking to the media about his, what's on the line for him as a coach. And it kind of feels like Saturday really could be huge for whatever happens next with this football program, Courtney. I mean, if you lose this game, we might be having an entirely different conversation about what's going on moving forward. So do you see a possibility, win or lose against Mississippi State, whatever, where maybe he considers retirement or reaching some sort of an agreement where he and the U of A part ways? Do you think something like that could be in the books down the road? And I know that's impossible to know, but is that something you could see happening?
I absolutely could see it happening. And the reason why I could see it happening, I go back to what Sam Pittman said when he was hired here, right? When Sam Pittman was hired, and you guys can fact check me here, when he was hired and in his press conference, because I went back and I watched it, and he said he wanted to make sure he did anything for the state of Arkansas. He wanted to make sure that what he was doing was the correct thing for the state of Arkansas. And that's what he wanted to do. It was all about Arkansas, the best for this team, the best for this program, the best for this university. Yeah. Well, maybe if it is what's best for the university, it's kind of like that phrase, if you love something, let it go. If you love something so much, let it go. And so maybe there might be a case of like, yeah, I am in a position where I realize that maybe my health isn't the greatest anymore. And I just want to spend time with Jamie and Hot Springs and be here in Arkansas and enjoy the state. And maybe it's time for me to step away and step down and let the program have new leadership, right? Like Coach Cal said, let the program have a new voice. Maybe there is something to be said there. Maybe there is. And I could see him doing that. Why? Maybe it will happen. I don't know. I mean, I saw Sam when he was in that post game against LSU. If you notice, go back and watch the video. He shifts in his chair and leans back like this a little bit. And he's never done that before. It was weird. He was like literally visibly like out of the shot a little bit like this. And I wondered if it was his hip. And I kind of was like, man, I feel so bad for this guy. Yeah. He kind of looks in pain. I hate to say that. And I don't want to speculate about somebody's health, but
absolutely not.
He did look a little bit in pain. And so, and I hope he wasn't. I hope if he comes up to me and he's like, Courtney, I wasn't in pain. I was just shifting in my chair. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry, Sam. Listen, I look in pain in the press conferences too, man. It's a thing. But it kind of, to me, was just a little, okay, what's going on here? And so I could see him doing something like that. I do believe Sam Pittman cares about the state. I believe Sam Pittman cares about the state of Arkansas. And I believe if he truly believes that him stepping down is the right thing for the program and the right thing for everybody involved, I think he'll do that. I really, truly believe he'll do that. Now, the question is, does he think it's the right thing for everybody? Because there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, right? And there could be a case where it may not be the right decision to do so. I mean, he could just get fired at the end of the day. He really could. We could be talking about a different situation in 2 weeks from now. We know he was on the hot seat going into the season. He's still on the hot seat. So we have no idea what will happen. I could see Hunter Yurchek just pulling the trigger and saying, "All right, we're doing it. We're done. We're done. This isn't working out. We're done." I could see that as well. But I could also see him stepping down. But I could also see him maybe staying on and maybe doing that because they want to see Bobby stick around for another season. They want to see Travis stick around for another season. They want to see their tight ends coach stick around for another season. They want to see that, and so when all of those things, when you like this coaching staff, because I think a lot of people out there really like this coaching staff. I really like this coaching staff. I really do. I think they are showing that they've got something good there. Is Sam Pittman the thing that's not good there? That is what I can't answer as well, because I'm not in those meetings. I don't know. I'm not in a lot of practices. I don't know. I know they like working for Sam. I know the players like playing for him. I know whenever we talk to a recruit, it's all about Sam Pittman, Sam Pittman, Sam Pittman. So, it's kind of one of those situations where you're like, is it the best situation for him to leave? Because then you have to start all over with someone else who probably won't retain anybody. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see anybody coming in retaining some of these people. And I know some people say, oh, that might be a thing for Hunter Yurchek to say you have to keep Bobby Petrino. I don't think any coach is going to come to a university where he doesn't have control over his own coaching staff. And Hunter Yurchek is making those calls. Guys, come on.
The Barry Odom effect, right? Like, that's what we get the most. If you want to keep Sam, well, then bring Barry Odom in. And the only way that happens is if Barry Odom wants Bobby Petrino to be the offensive coordinator. I don't think he would. And by the way, I don't want to rush to judgment. I don't know if Sam's going to get fired. I don't know that Barry Odom would be the guy. But more than likely, everyone keeps talking about the OC over there. That guy who runs the go-go, he's going to go off and be a group of 5 head coach. I guarantee you.
Well, that's the thing, right? If he goes off, then that perfectly lines up for Bobby to be the
Bobby
OC
Petrino,
again.
right?
So that would be the situation I could see happening. But I'm telling you this, Ty, if Brendan Marion walks in and he goes, "Coach, I want to come with you to Arkansas," I don't think you can will. I really don't think he's going to turn around and go, "Nah, I want Bobby Petrino. Sorry."
Yeah, that offense is fun. By the way, I don't know if you've watched them much. UNLV's pretty fun to watch.
Oh, they are awesome. That's why I'm also like, do you want to get rid of Bobby? Because I kind of like this offense.
Yeah.
Kind of like it.
For sure.
So, sorry.
And you're right too about his health. We obviously are not speculating that there's anything even really serious. We don't know. He has talked about it kind of in joking. I think he said something, golly, maybe that was Paul Feinbaum. He made a joke about something to do with his hip. I don't know. I know people have heard it.
And he's talked about it in a few press. Like, he has mentioned his hip. So it's not a crazy thing that we're insinuating, but I also just I want people to know that we're not trying to say there is anything wrong with him either.
Exactly. We had a $20 super chat here. Where'd it go?
A $20 super chat?
Yeah, $20. The fans deserve better. Every year they fill the stadium and pay money to see this product. When is enough finally enough? This isn't about Sam. The people of Arkansas deserve better. We don't want grace. We want wins. Wow. Strongly worded.
Wow,
we put all super chats on the screen.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty strong.
Wow, that was, and listen, I'm not saying, I feel like I should address that because I use the word grace, and I'm just saying I'm giving grace. Guys, you don't have to agree with me. That's why I do this. Please disagree with me. I love it. But I'm saying I'm coming at you from a different perspective, guys. I mentioned it at the beginning of the show. My dad's been coaching for a long time. He is coaching basketball, so I understand there's a little bit of a difference. but I'm coming at to you like a coach's daughter. And I'm telling you, this is why I'm giving him grace, because I've heard a lot of other coaches talk about this. And I've talked to a lot of different coaches about this. And they go, I would not take Sam Pittman's place to save my life. They could offer me any amount of money and I wouldn't do it because of all the stuff he's had to deal with and all this stuff. And there are coaches right now, guys, and let's just be honest here. There are coaches right now saying, we don't even want to coach anymore. You know, it's a reason I believe Nick Saban is truly done. And he doesn't want to be done because he's still talking about the game of college football every Saturday. And he likes being an analyst and he doesn't want to let go of it. But he is fed up over what's going on right now. And I think a lot of coaches are in the same boat. They want lawmakers to understand that they're going to kill the sport. They're going to kill entire college athletics. They're going to kill everything if they don't put some restrictions on it and put some legislation on it. So I'm just saying it was just a different perspective. Thanks, John. It was just a different perspective. That was all. I was given a little bit of grace. That was all.
John likes to lecture me in Discord. He likes to use phrases like perspective. I can't see the forest for the trees. What was the other one? Better the devil you know. When I listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I've been just like I told, I've mentioned this in Discord. No, this isn't news to anybody. 5 years, I am definitely ready to. We got to figure this out. Like what happened against Oklahoma State? Okay, it's early in the year. I'll kind of let that go. They were at the time we thought a really good team, but then it just keeps happening and it keeps happening, and it's eventually, you know, what's the definition of insanity, right? It's you know, wanting a different outcome and the same thing happening over and over. Far Cry 3, by the way, for you nerds, great game.
I also said that on a radio show the other day, and I agree with the fans there. I do, because at what point it's been a while. And so this is where the Mike Anderson conversation comes into play, right?
Yeah.
Has he left it in a good position? I think you can answer that confidently and say, yes, I think he has. So if they pulled the plug on the Sam Pittman thing, then sure. I'm not going to sit there and go, oh my gosh, this is terrible. They should have kept Pittman. I'm not like that. I'm not. I agree with you guys. When is enough enough? I agree with you guys. They shouldn't be in the bottom of the barrel, right? While Vanderbilt is in the top 25 right now.
Wild,
seriously. I'm serious, guys. I'm serious. And I understand where people are upset. I understand it. I understand it.
I couldn't disagree more that coach wants to come to Arkansas. That's just not true. We lost Kiffin in a bidding war, not because
did I say that? I did not say that.
I don't know. Hit the rewind button. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't think you said it just like that.
No, because it's not. I agree with you there. There are coaches that want to come coach in Arkansas. So
yeah,
Mr. T-Dub, Mr.
T-Dub. He's a friend of the show. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. T-Dub, if you'd like to clarify when that was said, because I agree with you. I'm not saying no coach would come to Arkansas. I think it was more just like who is going to be in play for Arkansas. And you also have to think about money too, right? Let's think about contracts and money and how things are going to play out. They are paying quite a bit for Coach Cal. They actually had to approve. They had to go into a meeting and they had to sit down and they had to take away a line in their documentation of contracts that said we can only pay a coach this much. They had to change the max allowance for Coach Cal. So I'm just thinking about money as well. Who is going to be in play? You also have to think about who is going to be firing their coaches and who is going to be also looking for a coach at the same time as Arkansas, because that will affect what Hunter Yurachek thinks about this situation. He thinks it's a game of chess, right, guys? So he's thinking about his move 5 plays in advance, right? He's thinking right now, if I get rid of Sam Pittman, who also is going to get rid of their coach? Who am I going to target already? And so he's thinking about those things probably right now, guys.
Yeah.
Probably right now. And what kind of money we're going to have and what kind of budget we're going to have for the new coach and who does he need to talk to for boosters and things like that. He is already he's a good enough AD. I'm giving him credit. He knows what he's doing. So I don't know, Mr. TW. Again, I don't know. Please comment back when or what I'm confused on here, because I know that coaches want to come coach here. It's just the question is who. So
yeah. Well, in two, the NIL part of it, right? How appealing is that right now? I mean, that's Rhett Lashley is a name that comes up all the time. And I do like what Rhett has done. Yes, he's from the area. He's from Springdale. He made a name for himself here. He's made a name for himself as an OC, and now he's at SMU as the head coach. It may not be as simple as taking someone from SMU who we know their NIL is probably pretty damn appealing versus whatever the situation Arkansas is in. So there is that aspect of it. And I know we kind of briefly mentioned on that earlier.
There was a reason Coach Cal came here. I think
most fans.
No. Oh, okay. Whoa. Okay. Whoa. Let me explain this. Now I know what you're talking about. Okay. All right. I'm saying when I talk to coaches, the situation that Sam Pittman has been from day one of COVID, transfer portal, NIL. Coaches do not want to trade places to be put in that position that he was put in when he first got here. Yeah. Not right now, guys. Not right now. I'm talking about the whole thing, the holistic approach. Okay, now I understand. Thank you for clarifying. Now I understand. I'm not saying the fans are dumb. You guys are not dumb. Do not shut up. Say as much as you want to say. That is your right as a fan, guys. Yep. Please say, do you know who comments fire Billy Napier with her burner account on every Florida post and has got 2 burner accounts banned? Me. Yeah. So, and I'll admit that's now on the record. So Florida knows I'm out there, okay? Florida knows I've been doing that. You're welcome, Mr. T-Dub. I said that for you, okay?
I just see you rage typing.
I'm doing this. I'm like so mad.
Great.
I'm like, I get so mad about it. One of my burner accounts, and I swear it's been taken off. It used to be hire back Dan Mullen because I was a big proponent of that. And I was like, hire back Dan Mullen. And they blocked me immediately. Wow. And I was like, well,
someone's going to clip this. That's too great.
No, clip it. Go ahead. You guys, listen. The University of Florida has my number. They know I'm out there. And they're like, thank goodness she's covering the Razerbacks. So we don't really have to deal with her that much, but they have my number. They know I'm here. So, Mr. TW, thank you for explaining what you meant, because I was like, wait, there are coaches that will come to Arkansas. What are you talking about? Whoa.
Well, yeah, no, I think I do believe they're going to be competitive. And Northwest Arkansas is a great area, and when you see, now I know it's basketball, but there is opportunities here for NIL. Mm-hmm. I think they just, maybe it is just getting behind someone that they really believe in. And if maybe Rhett is that guy, maybe it's Barry Odom. I don't know. We're so far down
you honestly don't know, because it's also the situation of, like I said before, who's going to fire their coach, because you could be competing with Florida at the end of the season. You could be. And to me, that's kind of an interesting situation, because I've heard things about Florida's NIL that aren't great. And so I'm going, wow, oh my gosh. Like, it's going to be interesting. That's all I'm saying. If Florida and Arkansas could be in a similar situation, I mean, that could be a very interesting coaching search battle if it happens. A lot of things would have to happen, but
I think it's going to be a lot. And I think you're going to see a number of coaches fired before the end of November. Yeah. That's the trend anyways. Just like once upon a time ago, players opting out of bowl games. Now it's like just expected. Now the last several years, you've had coaches, getting let go before the month of November is over with, before the college football season. Of course, Arkansas fired Chad Morris, and Barry Lenny Jr. came in as an interim. So we've seen it here.
And I think it'll be interesting also, Ty. I know we haven't talked about this, but I know a lot of people are wondering whether, if Sam Pittman does get fired, if it'll be during the season, if it'll be after the season. I still am a firm believer of it'll be after the season. And the only reason I believe that, I mean, that could change based on literally next week. I mean, if they lose to Mississippi State, all bets are off. I have no clue. But I still am leaning towards that he won't get fired until after the season. And that's only because then that saves you from having to name an interim and doing all of that and dealing with all of the stuff that comes with firing your head coach. But I could be wrong, because if Florida's already made it very clear, if they're going to fire Billy Napier, they're going to do it at the end of the season. So Florida, oh yeah, the officials have talked about that. I know ESPN was reporting that. And the reason being is because, at least from what I've heard, maybe this is like nuggets and I'm not supposed to be telling y'all, but okay. But I'm pretty sure what has been reported is that they won't fire him during the season. This was a couple of weeks ago when it was talking about, okay, maybe he'll be fired. And that's because maybe they don't have someone to be the interim. They don't feel comfortable naming anybody on that coaching staff to an interim. And the closest that they would name to an interim would be Dan Enos. So, yep. Again,
I thought he was like a recruiting coordinator.
No,
I thought he was like a recruiting coordinator.
He's
Florida.
like, what are their titles? The analyst, like the offensive analyst.
Offensive analyst or something.
Means that I guess in some way they can make him an interim.
Oh no. I kind of would pay money to see that, Courtney. Can you just not? Can we just not? I might have to make another burner account, and this one would to be just to attack Ty. Okay. Oh no.
Just to attack Ty for wanting to pay to see that.
Oh no! Don't do that. We got Cam on the line. What do you got, Cam? Let's make it quick.
So, what's the possibility that we go after what's his name, Manny Diaz, Duke's head coach? He's turned around the Duke program in one season.
That's a pretty good point, actually. But to be fair, he took over an Elko team that is, I don't know how many of those guys hit the portal. I don't know like what they did there, but obviously something's working. You're not wrong.
And he's very strong defensive minded too.
He is. Yeah. That would be almost like an Elko type hire, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But I know I went and watched the Florida State game, and it was a very fun defensive game.
Yeah, no, well, for sure, but it's also Florida State. Come on, it is Florida State.
That's true. They were on their third string quarterback on one drive, so.
I mean, I'd like to see. I mean, I guess I'll have to go back and watch some more Duke games this year, but I don't disagree with you. I mean, I think there's a chance for a lot of guys to be on the board for Arkansas. I think the reason why Barry Odom's name comes up a whole lot is because of his ties to the area. His son is still here. He's the quarterback at Fayetteville High School. So his son is still here. I believe his wife is still here, I want to say, because she listens to our show every week for Pig Trail and everything. So I believe she is here. And so I think there is that, why are you sticking around? Was it because of your son and you didn't want to move him to Vegas or whatever? I think that's why that name gets brought up so much. But I also don't think that means they're going to go after him. Do you know what I mean? So it could be really interesting when we open the door to that possibility. You're going to hear all sorts of names pop up. I wouldn't be shocked if you heard some names out of left field a little bit as well when it comes to if there's a coaching search, just because when that happens, I mean, the floodgates are open kind of thing. So, but I do believe Hunter Yurachek, I'm sure he's put a small list of people that if it had to happen, that if Sam Pittman is going to be fired this year or during the season or after the season, that he's already identified guys that he wants to call and look at already. So
Hunter Yurachek has.
Yeah.
He's already, oh, really?
I would say so. I mean, you have to be, as an AD, you have to be looking 5 steps ahead. So you have to be ready for the possibility. I'm sorry, if your coach is on the hot seat and actually says it at SEC Media Days, you have to be prepared for that. You have to be prepared for that. Now, whether that's you have a couple of guys that you're, okay, this is who I'm going to call first, or whatever happens, he was prepared for it with Muss. You can't tell me he wasn't, because when he put out that video on the bus and that whole thing,
yeah,
I think that was like what are you doing? What's going on?
That's fair.
Let me move on with it. If you're going to go, you're going to go. Right. And so I think that was a message, right? I just think it was. And so that's why I think he's always, Hunter Yurachek is a great AD. And if you go on any other SEC board around the SEC, any of the football boards, the basketball boards, whatever, for different schools, they all talk about how Hunter Yurachek is an incredible AD. And so they will like literally say, and especially after the Coach Cal hire, that's even propelled him even more. But I think you have to believe that if you're a good AD, because I would start building a short list. These are guys that if I have to fire Sam, these are who I'm looking at.
Yeah.
That's
what I would get, in other words.
Exactly.
I saw you, by the way, on Ask Mike do that. I saw that. I caught it, and I was like, oh, my God, she did it.
I almost did a wink for you guys, too. I almost did who are you going to get?
Who you going to get?
And people were going to be really weirded out by that if they do not watch this show.
That's true. Yeah, if they're not familiar with that goofy fat guy over on Tusk Talk, they have no clue. You might even get some complaints, so it's probably a good thing you didn't fall through too much with it, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Cam, I appreciate the call, man. Thanks for
thanks, Cam.
Thank y'all for having me.
Last thing, I know you got to hit the road. Arkansas KU exhibition game. What are you excited for? I mean, this could be a sellout crowd. This is huge. What are you hoping that comes out of this?
I mean, people are going to be, I think what I'm hoping for is Arkansas to keep it close, because I don't think 3 of their starters are going to play. Right. So I think Coach Cal is a guy that has made it very, very clear that if his guys aren't 110%, he is not playing them. Even if they are 90%, right? Yeah. He ain't playing them. They have got to be better than 100% if he's going to play them in an exhibition game that doesn't matter towards the record or to the stats or anything. This is truly because he wanted to do something, not like he loved the charity exhibition last year. He thought, yeah, we got to keep doing that because it's a great opportunity for us. It's a great opportunity for the fans to fill the seats. But he's also warned everybody. He has put his warning out there. I'm not going to play guys if they're not 100%. So I think it'll be interesting. The biggest thing I want to see is Arkansas compete. And I want to see Arkansas compete if they have 3 starters that aren't playing or playing very limited minutes, I guess I should say. So, yeah.
The good news, I shouldn't say good news. KU is also dealing with some injuries as well.
They are.
Hunter Dickinson, I guess he re-aggravated his foot, so he's questionable.
Yeah.
The Alabama guard, Rylan Griffin, he's questionable. And then Mississippi State guard, transfer guard, Shaquille Moore, he's also questionable. So we may not have some stars on the floor, but Arkansas is so loaded, it's like.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. So if John Al Davis isn't playing, if Jonas Adu isn't playing, if Adu Thiero isn't playing, for me, I'd like to see the younger guys step up. I'd like to see Coach Cal has talked about his freshman talent. I mean, he has talked about those 5 stars. And so for me, I think it would be really cool. And even if Kansas pulls out some of their younger guys as well, and if it's kind of a young matchup and we see what the younger talent does against each other, I think that would be really cool to see for both of these squads. And it gives those younger guys a chance to play in front of a crowd like that. I mean, that's great. That is great experience for those guys to have going forward through the rest of the season. And Coach Cal has talked about that multiple times and said those guys need experience. That's why it's important to have the transfers on your team, because you need experience playing, especially in a league like the SEC. You need that experience or at least just on a big stage, right? Because I know John L. Davis is transferring from FAU, but he's played on big stages, right? So you just need that experience, and those guys are going to get that, hopefully, in this exhibition game on both sides, not only on Arkansas, but on Kansas, like you said, as well. So I just want Arkansas to compete. If those freshmen can make some splashes, can turn some heads. I think this Arkansas team is incredibly dangerous. I think they're dangerous no matter what. But if those freshmen can show out,
could be pretty special. Yeah,
that's going to be awesome. So we'll see what happens.
The depth is crazy. I mean, it's nuts. I mean, they just go from one NBA prospect to another. They also have TCU on November 1st. That'll be their second and final. That'll be a charity exhibition played down in Fort Worth. Everybody, that's Courtney Mims. You know her from Big Trail Nation. Ask Mike. She was awesome as always. She is in our Tusk Talk Discord. Courtney, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time. I know you got dinner coming up.
Oh, yeah, you're good. I just wanted to say really quick, thank you guys so much for having me. As always, Ty, I really appreciate it. But also, I really enjoy when you guys ask me questions in the Discord too, and when we talk. And I'm a fan just like you guys, right? I am a college athletics fan, and so I enjoy talking to you guys. I enjoy hearing your opinions, and I enjoy hearing when people when you put the comments up here. I like knowing what you guys are saying. And I want to go back to saying, fans, don't shut up. Keep talking. Keep saying what you want to say. I mean, you guys are what drive these athletic programs, right? Arkansas is the reason I came to Arkansas is because this is the biggest thing going on in this state. Everybody is a sports fan here. You don't get that everywhere else. You don't get so many people involved in a community like this. And so I think it's really incredible. I think you guys should keep saying what you want to say. Keep saying it. I like reading it. It allows me to get a pulse, to let other media members know, to let the teams know what the pulse is on this fan base. I mean, that's why we're here as media members, to listen to you guys as well. And so I think I hope I don't like ever say like stop talking or be, I mean, Mike gets a little grumpy at some fans, which he's allowed to be. He does. But I'm a big advocate of you guys not shutting up and keep talking and keep letting us know, because to me, that is the best way I can interact and talk and find a pulse on the fan base. So seriously, I hope I never come across like that. I just want to.
No, you don't. You don't. You don't. Don't worry about that. Mike gets a little grumpy. I saw where he told someone to shut up on the show, but
let me explain this for anybody who watches Ask Mike really quickly before I go here. He has been doing this for a long time, and his thing is that I have been doing this for so long that I am going to tell you my opinions. You're asking for my opinions. You're watching my show for my opinions, and I'm going to tell you like it is. And sometimes I'm going to not like your opinion and tell you to shut up. That's not how I feel about it. I'm much more open mindset, and I like to bring in all different things and different perspectives. And I hear everybody who has a perspective on Sam Pittman, on whatever it is, basketball season, baseball season. But I think Mike just gets annoyed sometimes with people because he's been doing this for a very long time, guys. You gotta give him some grace, okay?
Yeah, and I love his stories too. I've been listening to Mike for years. But I get it too. I've not done it anywhere near long as he has on any kind of the platform that he has at all. But I understand it though. Every once in a while I'll get like in Discord, it's just like I gotta stop. I gotta put down the phone. Typically YouTube live chat's not too bad. It's not until you get LSU fans in your chat or Kentucky fans where it's just like
Kentucky fans are the worst, y'all. I'm serious. Can I tell them to shut up? Is that okay? Can I do that?
Yeah, I do it.
I'm genuinely, like, I will be totally honest with y'all. I cannot stand them. And listen, there are some good ones because there always are some good ones, but I just have the bad ones all over my social media feed. I have them in our YouTube comments. I have them in our email. I had a Kentucky fan email me. And
I haven't had that yet.
It's probably coming. They're going to join the Discord at some point and just attack me. Okay. I cannot stand them. And I've always felt that way. I have always felt that way. When we would go, like, anytime we would have to drive through Kentucky, I'd be like, Dad, we don't have to drive through Lexington, do we? And he was like, Courtney, we're not getting out of the car. And I'd be like, I just don't want to deal with them. I hated them as a kid. Like, it was like a deep-seated hate, and now they're even worse. So it runs deep. It's them, and apparently Colorado football fans wanted to pick a bone with me this year too. So just random fan bases that hate me these days. I don't know.
Talking bad about Prime. That's what you were doing, huh?
I literally, and y'all know this because I said it in the Tusk Talk Discord. I just said it was funny how Arkansas was trolling them. That's all I said. And then they started coming from me. And I said, guys, you can't come from me. Okay. I literally, you can't hurt me. Billy Napier is my head coach. You cannot hurt me. Okay. I have been hurt before. I have thick skin. Okay.
Yeah. And it's good that you have thick skin too, doing what you do.
Oh, we should have a whole Discord about or we can have a whole conversation, a whole Discord live about things I get told in this profession. So it's
I could only imagine.
Oh my goodness. That's why I like being in the Discord, to shout you guys out one more time. You guys are all, even if we have differing opinions, even if, you guys don't agree with what I'm saying or what Ty's saying or what anybody's saying, I think you guys handle it with so much grace and it's just good conversation. It's like, whoa, I didn't think about it that way. And so I really appreciate this Discord, honestly. Genuinely can't say enough good things about the people in it.
Listen, you've made it better. You've made it a better space. And the memes there are kind of fire too. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, the memes are really good. Yeah.
They've been...
People just come up with the best stuff in that Discord.
The other Mike. It's the other Mike, Mac. There's one other.
The other Mike and Mac. Yes.
Another guy that used to be really active and not so much anymore. I forgot his name, but there's a few in there. They're just fire with their memes. So it's been great. Well, Courtney, I know you've got dinner coming up, and I do too. Actually, I'm sure my wife is waiting on me to get done. I appreciate you. We'll have to, I'll have you on again soon.
If you don't, I'll be a little sad. I'll just have to join. I'll leave the Discord if you don't. I'll just start crying.
Don't do that.
But seriously though, for real, Baldur's Gate 3. If y'all want to play, I am down. I think he's part of our group. We need one more. If you play Baldur's Gate 3 on PlayStation 5. Join the group, okay?
I think you could cross plat on that. I think you can play PC too, right? I think I could be wrong.
Okay, if you can cross platform, then great. Then anybody. We need one more. We're gonna say it's Ty, me, and John right now. Yeah. Okay.
That's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to that now.
It's gonna be great. We'll live stream it.
Absolutely, we will. We'll figure it out. All right, Courtney. It's been fun as always. I'll talk to you in Discord.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye. Awesome as always. Love having her on. There's no one that does it better, and she's one of the top guests for a reason. So shout out to her. Make sure you go follow her on Twitter if you don't already. And join the Discord. She gave shout outs to the Discord because it is a pretty fun place. I wanted to address something, though. Someone said something in chat. Where'd it go? Where did it go? And he may have already left. I'm going to find it. Give me just a second. I'm going to find it. Scrolling. Man, where'd you go? Where did your comment go? Did you delete it? Oh, no. Here we go. Jaeger Trumskny, whatever. I don't care about who you're going to get. Worry about that later. This guy is toxic. You're obviously new here. This is an insider joke that started last season when there was the talk of Sam Pitt. It was just a joke, and it was a lot of fun. Just like the put in Criswell, like that. It's just jokes. It's having fun. Just relax, Jaeger. It's going to be okay. So just chill. This guy is, are you kidding? Calling me toxic? The only thing toxic here is your angry looking cat in your profile picture. That's the only thing toxic here, Jaeger. Get that out of my face. Get it off my screen. Oh, thank you, John. Yeah, he just shared the Discord link. I appreciate that, man. Matt says fire show cut. There you go, man. I don't know why Donovan says I stand with Jaeger. On what? Oh, about Arkansas having great fans? Yeah, we do. Who are you a fan of? Tell me who you're a fan of. I mean, I agree. They do have great fans. She's a D&D dungeon master too. Isn't that awesome? We're gonna get Baldur's Gate 3 going. I'm actually like really excited about that because I wanted to do that for a while. I guess you could do 4-player campaign. The other game they made, that same studio, they made a Divinity Original Sin 2. Put hundreds of hours into that. I never beat it, but I know they had a 4-player campaign. So I'm assuming Baldur's Gate does as well. I should watch all of you. It would be bad, the D&D content. I've never played. The nerdiest thing I've ever done was Magic the Gathering. And I did it because it's all my friends. It's all they were doing. It was the only thing I could, we were hanging out, couldn't let our football buddies know that we were playing Magic because we didn't want to get, didn't want to have to deal with that at practice. Did they fire Pittman? No. I don't know where that came from. Jaeger says LSU. I've been watching your show since last year. I barely chat here, but I like listening to Arkansas podcasts. Not even troll. You guys have passion that other fan bases don't. First off, I couldn't agree more. This fan base is very passionate. It does speak to. It's the only. Let's be real. I'm from here, born and raised, Fayetteville, Arkansas. Right, July 15th, 1983. Washington Regional Hospital. You could throw a stone at the U of A from where I was born. But let's be real. It's all the state has, and we love it for that, right? We love Arkansas for that, and that's why we're so passionate about it. That's why you don't hear much about Arkansas State fans. No disrespect to them, Austin, if he's in chat. UCA's coming up though. I'm always kind of rooting for the in-state schools. I always will. Bamsey says it's our NFL. There you go. It is. It's our NFL. It really is. It's all we have here, but we, that's fine. We're fine with that. Appreciate you watching the show though. I'll take back what I said about your cat. He does look grumpy, but he looks like a grumpy, cute cat. Let's see. You can do a mod and do even more people. I'm not sure. What do you mean? I didn't know if I missed something. No, Corey, they have not fired. They have not fired Pittman. Believe me, if they had, that would be an entirely different show. There is more. I was going to ask her, and I do appreciate Cam, who was able to call in. I was going to try and get that link out, but she was dropping some bombs. Really appreciate her coming on. She was just killing it, as she always does. I was going to bring up, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow at 6 p.m. We're going to do our breakdown of Arkansas versus Mississippi State. I was going to bring up some very interesting stats about Petrino's offense so far. And this is through four conference games versus what Dan Enos had done through 4 conference games. Just so far in conference play, but we'll get into that and some more tomorrow. Basketball season's here Friday. We're not going to pick winners. There's so many. Jonas Adu, John L. Davis, Adu Thiero, probably not going to play. For KU, it's no Hunter Dickinson, I would imagine. Bill Self, they have not said, they've not come out and say they're not going to play Hunter Dickinson. If they did, that would be very interesting to watch, right? Rylan Griffin's going to be out for them, it looks like. And then Shaquille Moore, who I forgot transferred. Shaquille Moore, who's at KU, he's out until he's out for a little bit. I think they don't expect him back to practice until next week. So they don't even know what he'll look like for the regular season. It's going to be fun. I'm really excited for Arkansas and KU. At the moment, I do plan on doing a post game for that. It is on SEC Network. That'll be fun. It'll be fun to watch. I don't know, Ty. I think it takes balls to take over this horrible football and wipe the dumpster juice off of it. Oh, golly, that's a bit graphic. I didn't want to think of that. Dumpster juice. Have you guys ever taken the trash out and you get trash juice on your leg? Because there's a hole that rips into the bottom of the bag. We use those big 39-gallon bags. because we have one trash can for the entire house. Well, other than the one in here, but this happened to me just the other day. It's happened to me a couple times, but I was taking the trash out and I lifted it up because it was kind of heavy, and the bag ripped as I was doing that, and I got trash juice all over my shoulder. Luckily, not in my hair, but you best believe I went right into the shower. I went right into the shower after that. Gross. Baldur's Gate 3. Okay, you're talking about Baldur's Gate 3. Dude, that's a fun game. We're not going to get into it. This is a sports show. We've already probably pissed some people off because we talk so much about it. But yeah, listen, I'm not. I am. I have this debate with John in our Discord, with not just John, multiple people, other group chats where people are like, Ty, they're just not ever going to do any better. It is who you're going to get. You're stuck with Sam. I don't think they'll ever do any better. And I just disagree. I just firmly disagree with that. I do believe they can go out and get – Sam has made this job more attractive than it was before he took it over. Now, it's that whole situation with hiring Chad Morris to begin with it was just a giant mess, right? With what was going on with the athletic director and the the board of trustees. You kind of felt like, what was the lady that was the interim? What was her name? Cromer. She had a weird name, Cromer's Peoples or something. She's now an athletic director at like some Big Ten school, but a lot of people felt like she was pressured to do something, and the board of trustees, Little Rock got involved, and then you ended up with Chad Morris. But again, the reason why I think you can do better is because they have done better. The evidence is there. They did, no matter how Brett Bielema worked out. You took Brett Bielema from Wisconsin after John L. Smith. You got Bobby Petrino, no matter what happened at Atlanta and how badly he wanted out of there. I've actually had people tell me in the know, media people who felt like Arkansas was not the only job to reach out. He came to Arkansas. I think Jeff Long was a little bit more aggressive than other athletic directors maybe at the time, but they got him here. Houston was certainly a big upgrade compared to Danny Ford. And if you're going to throw, it's the NIL transfer portal era. Exactly. We don't know how attractive this job is. We really don't. But that can't handcuff you to a head coach. That cannot handcuff you to a head coach. It can't. And I'll say this again, if they do, I think the odds are very low. Courtney's agreed with me on this very show about it. I've talked to Mason Choate. He's been on the show, and I think he talked about it. Other media people I've talked to when we were allowed at practice, one of the questions that was asked when I talked to folks, how many games to keep his job? Over and over again, it was 6 or 7. 5 is just not enough. If you keep him, and let's say he only wins, let's say he loses to Mississippi State. I don't think he gets fired, by the way. But let's say he loses to Mississippi State, doesn't get fired, because I don't think he will. You beat Louisiana Tech, and you just finish with those 5 wins. Who knows? Maybe Texas is really overrated. Maybe Ole Miss is really overrated. Mizzou is overrated. I think we can all agree with that. Anything can happen there, but it's at their place. If you keep him after going 5-7, I do like Hunter Yurachek, but that tells me you have checked out on the football program. 110%. It cannot be 5. It can't be 5. Better the devil you know, as John Haas has told me in Discord. That is asinine. You want to talk about asinine comments? That's asinine. That's an asinine decision to keep a coach who's now won, at that point, just 9 games in 2 seasons. Like, bro, this is the big boy league. Either get in or get out. If you don't have any confidence that you can go out and get another coach, then you don't belong in this damn league. If he goes 5-7. Again, 6, I'm not saying I'm for or against him staying. I've been on the record as saying that multiple times. I'm not saying that he would for sure keep his job or that I believe he should or shouldn't. There's the question of bringing back coordinators and all that and keeping things in place. A lot of hurdles you have to jump in order for all that to work. But, yeah, you've checked out. If you're allowing a coach to come back for a 6th year after missing back-to-back bowl seasons, having just one respectable season. The Tennessee game did buy him the benefit of the doubt to some degree. It's why I don't think now he'll be fired. Now, had he lost to Tennessee and you're on this losing streak and he lost to Mississippi State, that might be a different conversation. Another thing Courtney said, and I hear her, and this is actually valid. She said, I believe if anything happens, it'll be at the end of the year. I believe probably if things get bad enough, it will be before the end of the year because you've got early signing period now. It's 2 weeks after the end of the season, 2 weeks or so after. And then you have the most important thing to happen in college football, the transfer portal opens up, I think, that first week of December. You have to make a move on a coach, and it's got to be quick. And I think you'd want to get a head start on that, especially at a place like Arkansas. But I'm not one of these people. I don't believe who you're going to get. I don't believe that. I think they can go out and get somebody. And Sam has made the job more respectable. I give him that. And listen, Pigpen, I'm not disrespecting him at all. I said this with Courtney. And her and I have talked about it. I want nothing more than for that guy to be successful. Sam is truly, and I've been around him, when the rest of the media, I was at Pro Day at the Pro Days a couple of years ago. I went to this year and last year. Really fun, by the way. Pretty cool to see. You see some of the players out of their pads, hanging out with their boys. You see the coaches walking around. Bobby Petrino was 5 feet to my right. It's pretty neat. But a couple of years ago, he was just kind of talking like one of the boys with some of the media members. And I'm going to tell you, I think that is really who he is. He is the kind of guy, I guarantee you, if he knew you a little bit, he'd sit down and have a cold beer with you. I do believe he's that kind of guy. I like Sam a lot. I want him to be successful here. And also, it'd benefit the state. It'd benefit the university. It'd benefit fans. It'd benefit, Fayetteville, all that. I'm all in on that. But, man, at some point, it actually could cost you by keeping him. There's also the question of how do you drive NIL up? How do you do that when fans, there's not much to be excited about? I mean, really, ask yourself this. How excited would you be? How excited do you think your neighbor who's an Arkansas fan would be? How excited do you think your uncle, your nephew, your cousin, how excited are they going to be if Arkansas goes 5-7, dare I even say 6-6, and they keep Sam Pittman and maybe they keep Petrino, right? Now, there's a lot to say there because I'm going to tell you, like I said on Monday, his offense is not working. It's not in conference play. It's not. But by the way, I'll just go ahead and tell you, Dan Enos through 4 games, his offense scored more points. Scored, I think it was 25 points a game in SEC play through the first 4 games heading into the Mississippi State game. Bobby Petrino's offense right now is at 17 points. I think it's 16.5, 17 points a game. It's actually less than Dan Enos. So that's what I was going to say for tomorrow night. But I'll just tell you, since you're here, that's not good. So now we know why Enos got fired. It's because of what happened after Mississippi State and all that. That was horrible. But, how excited. So therefore, if there's no excitement, if there's not very much excitement, how does that benefit NIL? How does that benefit Hogs Plus? How does that benefit anybody, right? Think of the local shop owners in Fayetteville, right? No, boy, they're going to keep him. I don't know that we expect. Listen, the fact that they got $75,000 for the Tennessee game is respectable. However, that was homecoming. You're coming off a big win. You had the bye week. There was a lot of excitement, but guys, that will fade. It will absolutely fade if you end up with just 5-7 and you keep Sam for another year. I do see the possible benefits of getting Petrino back with Green and all that, assuming all these things fall into place. I got a bug flying around in here. All these hurdles you jump over that you have to jump over, all these variables to this equation all have to level out. That's a lot to ask. Trying to get everyone back, that's a lot. So I don't believe in holding on to a coach just because you have an assistant or excuse me, just because you have a coordinator that you don't want to lose. I don't believe in keeping a coach for that reason. Oh, no, we got to hang on to him because we don't want to lose Petrino. We don't want to lose Travis Williams. No, you can't let another coach on staff hold you hostage, for that head coach. So I know not everyone agrees with all of what I just said, but listen, that's the whole point of why I started doing what I do, to talk about it with you guys, to openly discuss it. You can agree and disagree with me all you want. That's great. That's what's awesome about this country. And lately, that's what's been great about YouTube, other than I got to stop swearing because they won't push my content when I do. Son of a bitch. But, whatever. Hey, I'm still here, baby. Going to always be here. So, something to think about. I will be back tomorrow night. We're going to talk about Arkansas, Mississippi State, and just what I think goes down tomorrow. I'm excited about it. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Shout out to Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Same-day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes, better than best results. Hundreds of 5-star reviews. Give them a call today at 501-244-3667. Again, that's Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. I will see you guys Friday night. Trying to get caught up on chat here. TG not hitting open receivers. That's why. Okay. And what was going on last year? I mean, I agree with that, but there's a lot more to it. There's a lot of this offense is just not cooking. So we'll see. Again, we'll break it down tomorrow night. We'll talk about Arkansas and LSU. I do appreciate you being here, though. I hope you had a good time. If you're not already, go check out Discord. Shout out to John Hawes for sharing that. Shout out to the super chats tonight. I hope I got to them all. Did I read this one? We had the continuity problem in coaching after losing by Tree. Now we have the continuity in the head coach. It just hasn't worked. Time for a change. So, I mean, there you go. I'm not the only one that thinks this. I know I'm not. But, yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow night, and we'll talk about Arkansas and Mississippi State. Okay? All right. You guys be good, and I'll see you tomorrow.